So when I was about 14, I started looking into the government and our world and humanity as a whole, and I had a lot of questions, and I felt like everything that I was living by and believed in was kind of just like another number in the program. So I started to run around and like tell people what was going on, and like they looked at me as if I was like borderline insane. And I realized that people kind of just turned the cheek away from these big ordeal things in the world, so I did the same thing, and I fell back into the tide. But about 3 years later, my curiosity for our world and our reality came back. This time, I was in way over my head, and fast forward to now, I am a completely different person than I once was, and I am really at the point where I feel like my purpose is to try to better humanity, starting with us. We as people hold the power in unity, and I just want you guys to enjoy this and really listen to what I'm saying. So if you would snap your fingers with me, I'd love to educate you in my words. They made you think the future was hover cars and life on Mars, but they didn't warn you that it wasn't very far away, and that we're on our way to the sixth mass extinction or a doomsday. We need to break away and walk down the path of peace with the Middle East and everyone that we've deceived. The future's now. It's time to put these lies and wars asleep, live with love and peace, because this is what the world needs. I don't really care about what happens to me. I just want the best for humanity. Man, I don't really care about what happens to me, because I just want the best for humanity. Everybody treats the planet like ish, because they think the ones who will deal with it are the grandkids, but the truth is it'll be us and our kids running out of fresh liquids before our time is up. I hate to be the one to make a fuss, but someone's got to do it, man, it's got to be discussed. We belong to the earth, it does not belong to us. The clock's ticking, and this is the beginning of the end until we make some changes, and from there we transcend to a world that is free, where there's no one in need. We throw away our ego, and there's no such thing as greed, because we see that we're to evolve as a planet, not build borders, religions, or leave each other stranded. Keep the earth healthy, because if for 1 in a billion, why would we take the ish for granted? I don't want you to panic, I just want you to open your eyes, see the truth in disguise. Take a look at cops and see how they're militarized with the vehicles, gears, and weapons. Can you tell me why the IRS is buying guns in bulk along with ammunition? The SSA and Department of Education have also purchased weapons in bulk. What's their mission? I don't get it. I feel like they got some real crazy ambition. Call me paranoid, but hey, at least I'm prepared. At least I'll know what's going on, and I won't be really scared because I'm aware. I don't want you to think like me, man. I just want you to think. See, that's the thing. You don't really need to agree with what I say, but open up your mind and you will see a different day than you were living. The awakening is thrilling. I know you're unwilling, but once you dive in, you'll want to learn how to swim, and you won't fear the grim reaper once the hill's getting steeper, because you'll die for a change, but you won't die for the system. Go the distance and do your own research. Find the power in you and let yourself rebirth. Know who and what you are inside this universe. Reverse and play back this tape and understand I didn't make this for the fame. I made it for the message, and I know it burns like acid rain, but the truth hurts, so man up and take the pain. Be a part of the change. Open up your brain and gain intellectual intelligence. We're the first step in the future's development. Thank you.
All right, this next poem we're going to do for you guys is something me and Georgia wrote, and we took down to Brave New Voices down in D.C. this year. It's about a problem that me and her have faced, and I bet a lot of you can relate to.
I was 17 and I ditched my audition for So You Think You Can Dance so I could support you at a freestyle competition. I was there for you before you were even my best friend.
I went with friends only to watch, but she skipped her audition. I didn't really know her yet, but I knew it was important, so I walked a guilt-driven, nervous mess onto the stage with a phone screen full of rhymes and a small crowd of people to perform for the first time.
Yo, that was dope. I said, you've never done that before? Man, I gotta hear more.
But we didn't communicate for like 5 months straight.
Until we practiced for Brave New Voices.
The poems were written, but on stage, our performances were a little dry. Then our choreographer walked through the door and she was like,
hey guys.
I knew her from somewhere. I think I talked to her one time. I never thought I'd see her again, and especially didn't think she had an artistic eye.
We started to talk more. We realized we had a lot in common. I got to know you a little better and concluded that we should chill more often, so we jumped in my car and started bumping to Biggie.
This was the beginning of an irreplaceable friendship. We became closer through our love for hip-hop, talking Kanye, Pac, and Cudi. Cause in my mind, it sounds like ooh.
Why does everyone think we're more than friends?
Everybody suspects something more from a co-ed friendship.
It's a shame nowadays how you can't be close with the opposite sex without raising suspicion.
People saw our friendship and they created a false vision.
It was a small town.
The word got around.
Did you hear Georgia and Bobby hang out?
Do you think they're fooling around? No. Yes, I have a penis.
Yes, I have a vagina,
And no, they have never met before. Even though we hang out every day to the point where I don't even have to ask anymore, I can just walk right through your front door.
We do sleep in the same bed.
But we sleep without touching each other like two
hot dogs on a grill.
And when we wake up, what we don't say is, "Good morning, did you have a good time last night?
How did you sleep?
Promise you'll text me later."
I don't want to go to work. I just want to lay here all day with you. It's not like that. It goes a little more like,
"Yo, man, I'm hungry. You want to go eat and
split the bill? We've got each other's backs.
Could read each other like an almanac.
But in simpler terms, we could play it back like whenever you need me.
Whenever you want me.
You know you can call me.
I'll be there shortly.
Don't care what your friends say, cause they don't know me. I could be your best friend and you'll be my homie. Homies. That's it. We're just homies. There is no obligation to impress me because of my gender.
When you are homies, you are just homies. There is no worrying or stressing over jealousy.
I just want you to know that I will be here for an eternity. I value our friendship more than normal people value currency, and I certainly would never leave you in the dark. Even when you cut me off, we bounce right back.
And that's a fact. If you were not a girl, we could still kick it as much as we used to.
If I had a Y chromosome, the people around us would have a lot less problem with our friendship.
But that is not the case. People will always be judgmental no matter the time or place. Even when we don't talk for a while,
we have a bond that cannot be broken, but we'd love to see you try.
The person I am now, a poet, a man who is so thrilled to come here to speak, isn't the person I was. I became involved with spoken word and slam poetry about 3 years ago. Where I come from, it's not a very accepted art form. I loved poetry, writing, doing open mics, but somebody always had something to say. People looked at me like I wasn't normal or I was acting crazy. They'd say, "Look at you doing poetry with the girls." Actually, I was heading down a pretty dark road. I was hurting my family. I was hurting myself with the decisions that I was making. Then I found the Breaking Ground Poets. This organization showed me the purpose of my art. It showed me how to use my voice to tell my story, and that gave me such a life-changing outlet. Years later now, my life revolves around the community and spoken word festivals like Brave New Voices. If I didn't have the dedication to stick with something that I thought would never be accepted by anybody, I would still be on that dark path. The most important thing I have learned this far is how influential a single voice can be if you decide to use it. In life, it's important to be fascinated with something larger than yourself. This next poem is an ode to my true love. When I first found you, you weren't really my type. Then I took a closer look into the depths of your life, and you peered right back. You had me up long nights. I listened to you speak. I got to learn your truth. You had me feeling empowered, hearing all the underdog stories of your youth. But the more I learned, the more I got confused. It seemed like everybody in my small farm town hated the fact that I saw a future with you. I listened to all of the hate. I sat around hearing all the doubt. But still, to this day, you're really all I am about, and it's been a long struggle, but now dedication got things between us popping off, and I ain't talking bubbles. I'm here speaking to you from the ashes of my own life. You will help me take the first steps up out of the rubble. Having you around is what saved me from a path of gutter life and trouble, something to live for. You give me something to stand by. Honestly, most people never realize. You are the definition of beauty, my definition of art. My bright light shining in the night, getting me to the end, right from the very start. And since you entered into my life like a small, intrigued, shoulder shrug smile, I had no idea you would end up playing such a big part in who I am. In all of my plans, I'm crazy about you, and I see myself with you until the very end. Through you, I met so many of my friends. Some homies I would die for, go to war for, blindly and defend. And for that, I can't thank you enough. You always have my back, you're my rock when times get tough. And I know I can't spend every single second of my time with you like I would like to, because life has been throwing me some crazy stuff. I just take every addicting drag of you in while I can like a nicotine puff. There is nothing in this world I would rather do than just spend some time with you. J. Cole said it right, I can't get enough. Of course, I'm talking about hip-hop music. Your sound to me is like a drug in hell, yes, I abuse it. Hip-hop music, without you in my life, I would probably lose it. You are rhythm, passion, struggle, and trial. You speak to the world through generations upon generations worth of different styles. And when it comes to working with you, I always go the extra mile. There is a future full of greatness ahead of us, and I've been scheming for a while. So let me wrap up this ode to my true love with one important lesson that hip-hop taught me. When it comes to doing something that you love, even if everything else in your life makes you feel like throwing in the towel or giving it a rest, when you try and you still can't succeed and you feel like the polar opposite of blessed, when you can feel that breaking point coming and you think you can't make it through this next life-giving test, never give up on something that not only inspires you from your mind, but also drives you from deep within the left side of your chest. Thank you.